Hello everyone and welcome back to my F2 2019 season, and look at that, we've got a perfect 200 points so far, 28 points back to Nicholas Latifi, and only a further 3 to Sede Camera. Things have swung around between them. Sede Camera has been on fire recently, so we'll need to watch out for both of them for the remainder of the season, but hopefully this weekend we can extend the gap and try to close the gap for the Constructors' Championship. So let's see how it goes.
Welcome once again then. You join us just as the final preparations are being made before practice gets underway here at Monza.
Alright, so here we are for practice around the Monza circuit, heading towards turn 1, and hardest braking zone of the season, more or less, to just get the timing right there. But a few practice laps. As you can see, this is not the first lap we've done. We've got a green first sector, so improving on our previous best. Second chicane a little bit tricky to get the exit line right there as the edge of the track sort of comes towards you a bit. The Lesmos always slightly awkward in the F2 cars, it seems, but I guess it's just the lack of downforce compared to the F1 cars.
5 minutes until rainfall expected. 5 minutes until rain.
You always feel like you should be carrying a bit more speed, but equally so it's easy to overcompensate for that and slow down too much for the corner as well. So it's a driving style in the F2 cars that you sort of have to adjust to. And through the final corner, bit of an awkward line on the entry, but out of the final corner and heading towards the line. Let's see what we can do. P1.
Well done, P1. You've just put in the quickest lap of the session so far.
As all cars are now over the line, your top 3 again are Calderon, De Vries and Juan Manuel Correa. Practice times are on the board then, but no points are on offer just yet. We'll be back with more F2 action soon. Qualifying is about to start here at the Autodromo de Monza for the Formula 2 feature race, and the teams will be heading out onto the track any minute now.
Alright, so here we are for qualifying in Italy. That's a weird looking shadow. Anyway, as we head towards the first corner, you can see this is our second lap of the session, second lap running that is, and Ralph Boschung there is up ahead, so we might get a bit of a slipstream from him. Hopefully he doesn't get in the way, but we'll see as we get further around the lap how that goes. But as we head towards the second chicane, you can see we're already green on our banker lap, so finding some improvement. Could have been a little bit more aggressive through the second chicane, but still finding some time there. And as we head through the Lesmos, I'm just trying to get a decent lap in, and we can still go for another lap later on if we still need to improve. But as we head towards Ascari, you can see Ralph Boschung just about gets out of the way. Through there, he had to cross over the racing line, made it a little bit awkward, but didn't hold us up too much. So that was not too bad. But through the final corner, probably got on the brakes a little bit early there, and the car just turned in a little bit more than I wanted it to, which is an unusual problem to have. But anyway, we crossed the line for P4 currently, so we'll have to go again to see if we can improve that. So we do go again. We've been in and out of the pits, but we're still on the same set of soft tyres. It's the only set you get, so that's a thing. But anyway, as we head towards the second chicane, you can see a green first sector, so we're still finding more time, more aggressive over the curves there in the second chicane. And as we head through the Lesmos, we'll see if we can just maintain this time that we gained. We ran wide of the first one, using all the road on the exit to try to make up for that. and a much nicer line through the second Lesmo. And with the DRS open towards the Ascari chicane, can we improve on our middle sector? Yes, we can. It's a green middle sector, so all signs are showing that we'll move further up the grid. You can see in the top left we've actually dropped all the way down to P12 at the moment, so we do really need to improve. Our previous laps were not that good. Maybe Ralph Boschung held me up a bit more than I thought he might have through this last sector, so let's see if we can bring it home with a good final sector to improve our qualifying position out of the last corner and towards the finish line. Short line to the finish, very short line to the finish in fact, and let's see what we can do. P8.
As we wind down from the excitement of qualifying, here's a look at your top three. Sete Camara, Giotto and Guan Yu Zhou. With qualifying complete, all that remains is the main event. We'll be live and uninterrupted for the feature race tomorrow, so make sure you join us then.
And it is Sergio Sete Camara who takes pole position, gets the 4 points, and with that he actually overtakes Nicholas Latifi in the driver championship, and is now 27 points behind me, which incidentally is exactly how many you score for a race win with fastest lap. So we'll need to watch out for him. He will be a force to be reckoned with if he takes this race win, especially if we're down here in P8, but hopefully we can improve on this position in the race. Luca Giotto, Guan Yu Zhou in the Univirtuosi cars, both having a very strong qualifying second and third. It makes sense, the Italian Grand Prix, and what I assume is an Italian team with a name like Univirtuosi. Anyway, let's get into the race and see how it goes.
Welcome everybody to the heart of Italian motor racing, Monza. We're here with Formula 2 for what ought to be an extravaganza of excitement and action. Let's head to the start line and get underway. Monza is situated 12 miles northeast of Milan. It's 3.6 miles long and offers 11 corners. 7 of those are chicanes, putting a premium on good braking stability and traction. With a good slipstream plus the 2 DRS zones available, there should be a number of good passing opportunities on offer. I'm not the only one sitting here today who's looking forward to today's race. My friend and ex-GP2 champion Davide Valsecchi next to me is already on the edge of his seat awaiting the start of the event. How's it going today?
Hello there, Alex. I'm great, thank you.
Let's look at the grid order for today's race while the cars make their final preparations. Sergio Sete Camara lines up on pole position, with Luca Giotto alongside. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Joe, Boccalacci, Nick De Vries, and Aitken, Latifi, Calderon, King, Giuliano Alesi, Schumacher, Hubert, Sean Galea, and Matsushita, Correa. They've taken a grid penalty. Delatraz, Mazepin, and Ralph Boschung, Ilott. Mahavir Raghunathan starts from the back of the grid. And with preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track.
You can run side by side into the Rettifilio, but don't brake too late on these cold tyres or you will hit someone.
Alright. 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the Italian feature race. Let's get underway. Bit of a bad start, and we're going to go to the inside, cover off the cars behind to just try to minimize the loss here. We go for a big dive down the inside and almost into Boccalacci there. Aitken actually cuts the corner. We got a hit from behind from I think that was Nicholas Latifi or maybe Schumacher there. Let's have a look at the replay. You can see the big dive, and to be fair, we cut that first corner. Aitken cut the second one, and it was Nicholas Latifi that gave us a hit there, and Schumacher was just taking the advantage there when he could. So you can see that's cost us quite a bit of time with the slide there. Thankfully we could keep the car in a straight line and not spin around completely but we need to put in a good couple of laps if we wanted to catch up to Jack Aiken, but we do catch up sooner rather than later. We have a look down the inside, but he locks up and we are unable to get past there, so we just need to wait for a better opportunity.
The car behind is dropping back by about 3/10 a lap.
Alright, hello, I'm back. We've caught up to Jack Aiken again finally. We've skipped quite a long way forwards in this race onto lap 4 now, and we finally have a run as we head towards the final corner. We're in the slipstream as we are maybe considering a move down the inside into the final corner. It's not a conventional overtaking opportunity, but thankfully he sees us coming, leaves the space, and we're going to battle side by side through the corner and eventually manage to take the position there.
Okay, good work. Great pass.
We'll get the DRS from Boccolacci, and hopefully that will let us pull away. He's got some slipstream from me, but it won't be enough as we go down the inside of Boccolacci and Nick de Vries, as they were both off the racing line there, but got a little bit too keen, and we weren't able to make the corner. So we had to give those positions back. Lucky not to get a penalty for that. But yeah, that was just getting a bit too excited there. Thought there was an opportunity. It didn't quite work out for us. But out of the final corner again, we seem to have really good drive out of that final corner, and we blow straight past Boccolacci before we even get to the DRS zone. But he's got the slipstream from Nick de Vries. He's coming back at us. De Vries goes to the middle. We go to the inside. Boccolacci to the outside, down the inside of Nick de Vries. And somehow we make the first apex to the corner there. And we take the position. Boccolacci battling side by side with de Vries. We are moving right across to the inside.
Has just moved into first place.
Guan Yu Zhou is up in the lead from third at this point. So he's having a solid race as we go deep into the second chicane. And Boccolacci gets back through, so he's managed to overtake Nick de Vries amongst all that battling that they did. So Boccolacci having a really solid race at the moment, currently up in 4th position. So if there's any trouble up ahead, as it seems they're battling away, he could be in a solid position for a podium. But we re-overtake him heading into the first corner, give him a squeeze towards the apex there, and retake the position. But we got a bit of a bad exit, and Boccolacci is going to come back at us round the outside, and he's going to retake that position. But we still have some decent momentum. We're sitting in the slipstream, see if we can get the over speed as we head towards the second chicane down the inside as he moved across there. And we completely missed the second chicane and have to give up the spot to Boccolacci once again. So a couple of mistakes creeping in, but hopefully they won't cost us too much in the long run. But we're really starting to hold each other up with all this battling. I need to just get the move done,
Set a cameras out in front.
and I need to get the move done cleanly,
This lap, give us the best in lap you can.
and not give him a chance to re-overtake us. So we go down the inside into the first corner once again, and this time I think we should get it done. We were a long way alongside before we even got to the DRS zone, so hopefully that it will make the difference for us as we exit the first corner. We are well clear, and there shouldn't be any chance that he'll come back at us into the second chicane, although he is very close, so we do have to defend into the second chicane, but we hold on thankfully, and we can just focus on trying to stretch away through the Lesmos, because if he is too close with the DRS along the back straight, there won't be any chance. But we run wide off the road. We try to move out the way De Vries, but we gave him a hit anyway. But Boccolacci gets through. We'll have a look at the replay, and you can see Boccolacci good work to avoid me coming back onto the road, but I moved to the left. I assumed everyone was going to go to my right, but as you can see from Nick De Vries, he was looking to go to the right, but then we both switched to the left side of the road at the same time there, and that was all just a bit awkward as there was piles of sand coming out the back of my car there. But anyway, didn't affect us too much. We didn't get a penalty for it, surprisingly, but that was a bit of an awkward moment. I think De Vries maybe even got a bit of damage from that, so if he was a bit more decisive and just stuck to going right, he might have got away with that, but I can't say that that wasn't my fault. But anyway,
Exit now. You'll be racing as you leave the pits.
well, that's an unsafe release with Nikita Mazepin there. But anyway, yeah, I can't. I have to take the blame for that incident. But anyway, we get going again. But through the first Lesmo, bit of a clumsy mistake, running a little bit wide there, and Boccolacci gets through again. We tried to send it round the outside, but run wide again in the second Lesmo, completely lose the rear end, and smash the DRS board there, do a wheelie. So that's something that you can do in F1 2019. I never have seen that before, but actually from there it just looks like the car is balancing on a small piece of debris. So that's a funny thing. There's the thumbnail shot right there, or maybe from this angle, with so you can see under the car a bit more. But anyway, that cost us a lot of time, surprisingly, and it looked quite cool actually from that angle. Anyway, we lost a bunch of time. We're down to P17, but as we do some slalom through the cars exiting pit lane, we find our way up into 13th. Can we go around the outside to the inside of Boschung there? Lucky he left it just enough space there on the inside, and we squeezed our way through to P12. So that tells you
Brilliant. Nice move.
we lost a good 8 positions or so with that mistake. So we eventually catch up and go down the inside of Louis Delatraz, and that moves us up into P11. But we still need to overtake another 5 or 6 cars to get back to where we were. So we move on, and we eventually catch up to Jordan King. We go for a big dive down the inside of Jordan King and Nick Schumacher, and manage to get that done into the final corner. And I said we were strong through that final corner. I didn't expect a double overtake, really. It was a big dive on King, but we managed to get Schumacher at the same time. That was a crazy move, but somehow we got away with it. And we've got 3 cars up ahead: Hubert, Boccolacci and Latifi all defending, and in fact Aitken as well into the first corner. We tried a triple overtake there. We're still side by side with Boccolacci, but he gets the better exit, so we still overtake Hubert. But the other 2 managed to hold on to their positions. We're weaving all over the place behind Boccolacci, trying to get in the mirror, see if we can put some pressure on down the inside into the second chicane from a long way back. And we have to leave some space. We're still side by side. He just leaves us enough space on the exit there. And we're going to be around the outside through the Lesmos. This hasn't gone well in the past, but thankfully Boccolacci leaves us a pile of space on the exit of the first Lesmo, and makes it easy enough to navigate, but it's just too hard to hold around the outside through there, and he maintains the momentum. But towards Ascari we managed to go down the inside with the DRS, and battle side by side through the Ascari chicane, almost losing the rear end there, but thankfully we managed to hold the position. He's got some momentum though. We had a bad exit as we were sliding through the right-hander there, and Boccolacci is going to go to the outside. We're going to hold him off on the inside, and we're going to hold on to the position, thankfully enough. So we won't have DRS though on the way to the first corner. You can see we're immediately to the right hand side of the road trying to break the slipstream. We've got a good exit versus Boccolacci, and I think we should be safe enough into the first corner, as they're going absolutely insane behind me. Cars going everywhere. Hubert around the outside, of Boccolacci through the first corner, and I had a bit of a wheel spin on the exit there. Hubert has a good run. He might be going around my outside through turn 3 rather, and as we navigate turn 3 though, he can't quite get there. He's very close, but we managed to hold on to the position. Left a little bit of space on the inside there just in case, but we were able to hold on.
P7.
To P7 now.
That was the fastest lap of the race so far.
And a fastest lap as well. So that is some points that Sergio Sedicamera will not be getting if he takes the race win. But you can see Nicholas Latifi and Jack Aitken battling away up ahead. So can we make the most of this? They're side by side. Jack Aitken round the outside and manages to actually hold on to that position. I believe he was ahead previously. But we go down the outside of Latifi and maybe around the outside of Jack Aitken as well to the inside of turn 5, and we do manage to get that position from Jack Aitken, so a nice double overtake around the outside of the second chicane.
You made it look easy.
Aitken coming back at us down the inside of the first and now the second Lesmo. We have a bit of contact there, but we managed to hold on to the position now along the front straight all the way off the circuit, trying to break the slipstream to Aitken. He's not following me that far, but he tried to get the slipstream. But anyway, we go too deep into the first corner and have to bail out of that one. And Jack Aitken will probably retake the position here. He does. So we're going to sit in the slipstream. Can we get a run towards the second chicane? Nicholas Latifi's there as well, so we've lost 2 positions here with that mistake. But we're going to go down the inside of Latifi and Aitken into the second chicane, and we get those positions back. And we move ourselves back up into P5 in this race. So we've got Nick de Vries up ahead, and what's going on here? It's a mechanical failure for Sean Galale. And that is the end of the day for him. I think he was out of the points anyway, but still unreliability showing for him. He's had a number of mechanical failures, but this is the battle for the lead between Luca Giotto and Sergio Sedicamera. Giotto might be doing me a favour here if he can take the lead of what is his home race, and he's currently on the outside heading into the chicane, but he's going to be able to hold it there to the inside and tries to squeeze out Sedicamera, but he's holding on strong, and the side by side, and eventually Giotto manages to get through down the inside into the first Lesmo, and Luca Giotto takes the lead of the Italian feature race, and the Italian fans will be absolutely loving to see that. But that is Guanyu Zhou setting the fastest lap. And we've got another mechanical failure, and it is Sergio Sedicamera from second place in this race, and he pulls over to the edge of the track at the exit of Parabolica, and he is out.
This is your final lap of the race.
He has gone from closing right up in the championship fight to getting nothing in this race, and
Gap to teammate behind is 7.6 seconds.
he will start from the back in the sprint race. So this weekend has gone from looking absolutely amazing for Sedicamera, and now he will get nothing from it, and that will pretty much ruin his chances at the championship fight. Points on in the sprint race are looking very unlikely, and in fact there are only 2 rounds left, so it depends what happens in the sprint race, but he could be out of the championship even mathematically after this. We'll have to see, but that is a disaster for Sergio Sedicamera. But for us, the end of the race was quite boring. There wasn't really any other cars around. Hubert managed to get his way up into P5 by the end, but Luca Giotto wins the Italian feature race at his home race, that is, and the Italian fans will be loving that. But for us, it's P4, so starting from P8, not a bad recovery, but with a few less mistakes, I feel like we could have gotten the podium, but de Vries was a bit too fast at the end.
brilliant stuff from Uni Virtuosi today. That's another historic win. And Davide Valsecchi, give me your thoughts. How did they accomplish this result?
I think this race was won thanks to the tire management. You have to remember, it's not just about going as fast as you can. It's about consistency. It's about maintaining your speed over the entire race distance. So being able to keep the lap time competitive while still respecting the tires, that's where they won today.
And as the adrenaline dies down after another eventful race, here come our top three out onto the podium.
So, Luca Ghiotto wins in front of his home crowd. His teammate backs him up in P2, and it is Nick de Vries trying to get his championship back on track with a podium finish here in Italy.
After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the driver's table. It's a good result for Tatiana Calderon, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
I pick Ralph Bouchon because he was just better than everyone else in the last few laps of the race. He made the difference.
And now a look at the team standings. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. Meanwhile, a strong weekend from ART this time out, and they improved their position in the championship. Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
So, reverse grid pole goes to Ralph Boschung. So he'll be absolutely loving that opportunity, and I'm sure he'll be trying to make the most of it. Obviously, his teammate Alesi got a race win after getting the reverse grid pole in Monaco. So Boschung has a good chance to get even with his teammate there, but that will be a difficult challenge in that Trident car for Ralph Boschung. But anyway, as for us, well, the highlights just show it all there. Just too many mistakes in that race as carbon fiber goes flying there in the foreground. But anyway, we somehow after all that managed to extend our championship lead over both Latifi and Sade Camera, with well, Latifi just still struggling for pace in general. Here is the wheelie. Whoop, there we go. Oh, that is so random. But anyway, I don't know. It was a decent race, but just too many mistakes, and that's what really cost us in the end from getting a good position. That was, well, I was just getting bored at that point, a bit frustrated with the mistakes that I've been making. That was a really nice move on Boschung there that the highlights reel just cut out there. But yeah, made some good overtakes in this race, but like I said during the race at some point, I was sort of messing around with trying to make use of the engine braking. I feel like that is maybe the next step, I guess, in making me a little bit faster on this game, and making overtaking a little bit easier in general, because it is something I've kind of had a bit of trouble with in the past, is making I guess good overtakes. But anyway, it's something I'm working on.
And we're back. After yesterday's feature race, the top 8 drivers have been reversed on the grid, setting up some exciting action as we launch into today's event, the sprint race. In the commentary box for the big race today, I'm Alex Jakes, and joining me once again, it's Davide Valsecchi. Davide, as well as being the 2012 GP2 champion, you also have experience as a test driver in F1. What would you say are the biggest differences for people fresh to the world of F2?
Well, Alex, I think it's an exciting time in Formula 2 right now. For spectators, a lot of excitement comes from all the drivers being in the same car. That puts the emphasis on driver skills, meaning lots of overtakes, which means exciting race for us.
on side by side into the Rettifilio, but don't brake too late on these cold tyres or you will hit someone.
Alright, thank you for that one, Jeff, as we now go to 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go for the sprint race here in Italy. It's a good start for Hubert. He'll be trying to take 3rd place into the first corner. We've got a pretty ordinary start. And Luca Giotto flies past and moves back onto the racing line in front of us. So that's a little bit dodgy. We're around the outside of Guan Yu Zhou into the first corner, and we go in deep. We give Giotto a hit. He turns around, and we have taken Luca Giotto out of this race.
Safety car deployed. The safety car has been deployed. Watch your delta. Make sure you keep it positive as we catch the pack.
And well, that was a little bit clumsy by me. I was trying to go deep and into that corner to try to stay ahead of Joe, but we gave Giotto a hit instead. But that's the damage to the front of our car. Not much to the wing itself, but the actual nose cone, I suppose you'd call it, of the car is all messed up. But Ralf Boschung has managed to hold on to the lead off the start, and the pressure is on him to get this safety car restart right. You can see the safety car accelerates away, and it is all down to Boschung now to when we get underway, and he will be trying to get away from Aitken and an angry train of cars behind him. Restart was pretty ordinary for us, and we lost a bit of time to the cars ahead, but I'm not really sure if the damage is actually going to affect our cornering, because it's not to the wing itself, so I'm not sure how that really works in terms of the game. But we go for a big dive down the inside of Nick de Vries, and we managed to get a stop turn and turn there. So judging by that, the damage is not too bad, so we should be able to still fight for a decent race. So P5 right now, we battling away with Hubert down the inside and almost into the back of Nicholas Latifi there, but thankfully we managed to save the front wing on that occasion, and we should have a decent run out of the final corner. But Latifi is in the in the slipstream, and Boschung and Aitken are side by side for the race lead up ahead. I decided to go a little bit cautious into the first corner, but that could just give the position to Latifi. He tries to turn into the apex there, but we were still there on the right hand side. He squeezes his way through, and really sort of forces us out of the way. There was no contact, but lucky I wasn't any closer to him on the exit there, or they would have been, and that would have been damage for us. But we go down the inside into the Ascari chicane, and we give him the same treatment, running right out of road, and take that position away from Nicholas Latifi. Next up is Ralf Boschung, who has just lost the lead to Jack Aitken, but we can't focus on him yet because Latifi's coming back around our outside. We give him a bit of a squeeze as we head into the final corner, and thankfully we managed to hold on, and we're still going to get a pretty decent exit. This is a really solid corner for us compared to the AI, and we've got a good run. We got a good run towards the first corner, so I'm not sure if we'll be able to do anything, but we'll have a look. Jack Aitken locks up as Boschung is putting the pressure on, but no opportunity for either of us there, and we just have to wait for a better opportunity. But once again, Boschung and Aitken side by side into the first corner, and this time Boschung is a lot further alongside. He might hold around the outside of turn 3. Aitken gives him the big squeeze, but it looks like Aitken is going to hold on this occasion. But I feel like I don't really have the ultimate pace of these two, Boschung and Aitken. They're both very, very fast to this point in the race, and I just can't quite find a way past. So it just, I don't know, it just seems like I'm only able to keep up when they're battling. As you saw on the last shot, they were a long way ahead, but we were able to catch up when they were running side by side. But a decent run through the Lesmos, and we are right behind Boschung with the DRS, but you can just see the straight line speed that he's got. He seems to just have a bit more than I do, even with DRS. But anyway, side by side again into the first corner between Ralf Boschung and Jack Aitken, and the battle continues when we are right in the fight this time. We get a bit of wheel spin on the exit. We are blocking off Nicholas Latifi, who's trying to make the most of our little mistake there. This time Boschung is still on the outside of Aiken as they are exiting turn 3, so Boschung might have another opportunity. Aiken defends, and Boschung can not find a way through there, but he's throwing everything at it, and it seems like he's got a bit of pace in hand. So once again towards the first corner, Boschung to the outside of Aiken, and they leave each other plenty of space, almost banging wheels though in the end there, after initially leaving each other plenty of space. But Boschung is a bit further around the outside, and this time he gets the momentum and takes the lead away from Jack Aiken. We've got some momentum on our side versus Aiken as well. Can we make a move?
The safety car is out. The safety car is out. We need to form up at a reduced pace. Keep a close eye on that delta time. Make sure to keep it positive.
No, we can't, because we have another safety car, and this one is for Nikita Mazepin, retiring from the race with another mechanical failure. So that is the end of the day for the Russian driver, and he pulls off to the edge of the road. But Ralf Boschung once again has to lead away a safety car restart. This time we are much closer to the front of the field, but he decides not to go. Coming around the final corner, he just didn't go. So at this point I wasn't really sure what to do. I thought this restart might have happened. I thought they might just all be stuck at the wrong speed or something. I'm not sure what this is, if it's a bug or what's going on here. But you can see I'm waiting. I'm ready to try to overtake Aiken. But I thought surely that maybe when we cross the line, Boschung would take off. Maybe he was just leaving it late, but he just never took off. So we fast forward, and well, we just decided to see if we could get away with overtaking.
You're under safety car conditions and cannot overtake. Return the position.
The safety car has gone into pit lane, by the way. But anyway, eventually, by the time we get around to the back straight, Boschung does take off, and we get underway again. So I'm not sure what that was about, but anyway, that's what happened. And we get back. Anyway, we get underway again, and Boschung holds the lead through the Ascari chicane. But we've just lost a lot of time to Jack Aiken. I wasn't ready for the restart, and you can see the tyres are on the cooler side of things. So you know, we might lose a bit of time with this restart until they come up to temperature. That said, the AI are probably struggling.
The car in front, but we need to look after the tyres. We won't be making another pit stop.
With the same issue. But anyway, into the first corner, we close right up behind Aiken and Boschung again, and it won't be long. It looks like they're going to start battling away again with the DRS. It doesn't really matter who's faster, they're just going to keep fighting until the end of the race. But we get a good run out of the final corner versus Jack Aiken. We've got the DRS. Actually, no, we don't. The DRS has not been reactivated yet, so no DRS for anyone towards the first corner. But we go down the outside of Jack Aiken. We have to brake somewhat early to make sure we don't run into the back of Boschung. Aiken tries to go around the outside of Boschung, but neither of us are able to pull that off. And Boschung has been given a birthday present there, and he's a long way ahead of us now. But we're still going to put the pressure on Jack Aiken as we head towards the second chicane. We go to the outside, down the outside of Jack Aiken, and look at the extra speed we're carrying through that corner to the inside, and we take that position away from Jack Aiken. Here's the onboard. You can see how much later we brake there, as Aiken was on the defensive line, and I'm not really sure what he was doing. He surely didn't need to brake that early, but that's what he did, and we managed to make the most of it. So that is us up into second place, but you can see we have to defend from Aiken now, and the DRS, we still don't have DRS to Boschung, and he's just getting further and further ahead as we are having to defend from first Aiken and now Latifi, who's getting involved in the battle. So yeah, this is really playing out to help Ralph Boschung as Latifi tries to go around our outside, and then I'm not sure if he half spun there or...
The effects of the tyre deg are going to kick in soon. We should be all right for the...
I'm not sure what Latifi was doing there. That looked very weird. We'll have a look at the replay. He goes around our outside and then he just sort of backs out of it, cuts back onto the racing line, and almost runs into another car there. Dropped 2 spots to Aitken and Joe. But anyway, eventually Aitken goes for a move. We try to defend, push him all the way to the inside, and give him the tight line. That was very, very aggressive there, but we managed to hold him off as we do that, and that gives Joe an advantage and brings Joe up onto the podium for the second race in a row if he can hold on to it. But we managed to hold on. But Boschung at this point, he's just gone. There's no way we can catch him at this point, it seems. He's got more pace than we do. We're just really holding up the field. I feel like the damage has either gotten worse or we were just lucky always in the slipstream, and that's what's been helping us keep up. But we do not have the pace of Boschung at the moment. But you can see Joe tries to go past on the right hand side, and in fact he's fully ahead of us there. But can we go for a dive down the inside? We have a big look down the inside, but just couldn't quite get close enough. And Guan Yu Zhou takes second place in this race. So the Chinese driver, we're looking to replicate his feature race position at this point. But we're battling away with Nicholas Latifi, and we are almost off the road trying to give him some space, but we get the run. Aitken's following us through, but you can just see it almost seems like we're lacking some straight line speed. We had more momentum than Latifi, but towards the end of the straight he started to kind of come back at us even without slipstream. So yeah, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. We seem to be lacking a little bit everywhere. But anyway, Latifi coming back at us once again towards the first corner. You can see the extra speed there due to the DRS, but there was no DRS on that other straight, so I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But Latifi seems to have a lot of straight line speed in that car. But anyway, we move on now to the closing laps of the race, the second last lap, and it's Aitken once again who's trying to overtake us. He goes for a big move. We go for a big move down the inside, wheel to wheel, but unfortunately we just couldn't get that position, and that puts Aitken up onto the podium, us back to 4th place. But towards the first corner we're going to have a run at him once again.
Final lap of the race.
So with the DRS we can maybe make a move around the outside into the first corner. Aitken defends. We go for late under brakes, and we squeeze him to the apex. We go around the outside to the inside of turn 2, and we retake 3rd place in this race. Aitken though will not be giving up, and he'll still be putting the pressure on for the rest of the lap. So we just need to try to get this absolutely perfect. He's going to have a look to the inside here. Potentially we just cover off the line just a little bit, very late on the brakes there, and we managed to hold on. We're going to go defensive into the first Lesmo to just cover him off, make sure there's no opportunity for an overtake using all the extra road there that I'm confident to use at this point. When the tyres start wearing out, it's very tricky to go running over the curbs and be confident that the car's not going to spin around. But thankfully we managed to get a little bit of a gap to Latifi, and to Aitken rather, and he's not close enough to overtake us through Ascari. So that only leaves Parabolica, which is one of our strongest corners on the circuit, so I'm not worried about that one. But as we head towards Parabolica for the final time, Ralph Boschung heads around Parabolica for the final time, and he's going to cross the line to win the sprint race here in Italy. Ralph Boschung, now a race winner in Formula 2 for the Trident team. We cross the line for P3.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
It was a tough race at times, but they've held on to take a great victory for Trident today. Davide, what do you think made the difference here?
The safety car made a big difference today. There's no doubt about it. I can't be certain, but it would have been a very different race and probably podium too without it. What I do know is that they came out of that situation in a favorable position. The safety car really does alter the balance of the race.
Our drivers are making their way out for the podium celebrations, and it's going to be Trident picking up the winner's trophy. Congratulations to the entire team for coming out on top in that amazing race.
So Ralph Boschung, the race winner, Guan Yu Zhou another P2, and myself finishing third place in this one.
So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. It's a good result for Tatiana Calderon, who moves further ahead at the top of the table. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
I have to give it to Sean Galeol. Consistency, good battles, sensible driving. He can be pleased with that performance today.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams' Championship. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. There will be plenty more twists and turns to come this season. I hope you'll join us at the next race when Formula 2 returns.
So that brings this round of the Formula 2 Championship to an end. We currently now have a 36-point lead over Nicholas Latifi in the Drivers' Championship, and a solid 49 points back to Sergio Sette Camara. So I believe that means if we beat Sette Camara in the next round, if we outscore him, that will put him mathematically out of contention for the title. And now we are only 34 points behind the Dams team in terms of the constructors. So still plenty to play out for either championship in the remaining two races, or the remaining two rounds rather. And I really hope Hubert can have a good round in Russia and help us close that gap to Dams, because I don't feel I can do it. I don't feel like I can do it myself, because there will be no doubt Latifi and Sette Camara will be back stronger than ever for the remaining two rounds, and yeah, they will not want to let the championship slip away at the last moment. But anyway, thank you very much for watching, and I will see you for the next round in Russia. Goodbye.